All right. Good afternoon. We're going to wait for the click. We have to wait for the click. One of those things. There goes the click. We are now in. Welcome, you guys. I've been handling business for a minute. A lot of stuff going on. Today is April 18th, 2025. Don't forget to check out my homie, Demetra K. Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She will be talking, as we usually do, about what is going on in the African diaspora and what is actually happening. Um, yeah, it's getting pretty interesting out here. It's getting very, very interesting. People are starting to see the writing on the wall. What do I mean by that, the writing on the wall? Well, um, the question is this, and this is what I tell people all the time. It's about legacy. At least for me, it's about legacy. If we do not take a stand now and get these fundamental things changed, what is going to be left for our children and our grandchildren? The problem in government right now in the Democratic Party, if you guys have been watching some of the Democratic shows and already been reading the articles, they are saying the problem with the Democratic Party is the baby boomer generation is still in power and they are stuck in their ways. Now, you can take it or leave it or whatever. The fact of the matter is, leadership of the United States is going to skip over my generation in general and go straight to the millennials and Generation Z. Those are the facts because these people have been staying too long. We've got almost an 80-year-old president. We've had an old president, Nancy Pelosi. These people are still in power, and they won't give it up. James Carville, a longtime Democrat strategist, if you've been listening to some of his podcasts and what he's talking about, he doesn't seem to be wanting to pass the baton to younger generation. I mean, what more could an 80-year-old person do in regards to politics and moving the ball forward for the nation? Not saying they can't contribute. That isn't what I'm saying. If you've seen me on the show before and on some other shows, I've always said what an older generation needs to do is be advisory. So if you want to stay in politics, you need to be advisory. Basically, be that knowledge base, the chairman, like the chairman of the board, a board member, where people can go to you and say, hey, this is what we are doing right now. What do you think? Because experience trumps book knowledge every time. Every time. Experience trumps book knowledge. We all know that. Those of us that have any sense, we all know that. So you can't throw that knowledge that can't be read in a book. You have to have practical, hands-on knowledge. And, older people, myself included, I'll be 55 this year. Next month. Geez, not even next year. Next month, I'll be 55. So I include myself in that. But I'm smart enough to know I have too much living left in whatever little time that I have left on this planet to have to worry about where the government is going. I want to enjoy my golden years. I want to relax. I want to travel. I want to enjoy my grandchildren. I don't have any yet. And just do those things. I don't want to continue to do what I did when I was a younger man because I don't have the patience, the tolerance, and I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I do feel that I'm a little bit different than my predecessors for the simple fact that I am willing to pass the torch. And unfortunately, they aren't. And no shade to the older generation. They're wrecking this country. They can't say it's the younger generation. They can't put it on the younger generation. They are wrecking this country. And all they want to do, and this is my opinion, is they want to die out peacefully. That's all they want. They don't care about their grandchildren. They don't care about how these kids are going to make a living. What generation shipped all the jobs overseas? Remember NAFTA and all that other stuff? What generation was that? Wasn't my generation. The baby boomer generation, Bill Clinton. Started under Ronald Reagan, the manufacturing in the 80s, and Ronald Reagan's a silent generationer, but the point is, most of what we are experiencing today is the thought pattern of the baby boomer generation. This is the very generation that was so transformational in this country, but they don't know how to give it up. This was the generation that said, don't trust anybody over 30. This was the generation that said they're going to change the world with music. This is the generation that was peace, love, and all this other stuff, right? What happened to all of that? Now they've gotten older, and now they are seeing what their parents were trying to tell them when they were being so transformational. So it's cold here in California. It's been overcast for almost 5 days straight. Been moving those rocks as best I can, but it's too cold right now, and I've got arthritis. And when I got arthritis, my joints cramp up, and I can't really get out there and do it the way I want to do it. And number one, I shouldn't be moving those type of rocks anyway at my age. But somebody's got to do it, right? Got to get ready for the summer. I'm complaining now, but when all of this is done and the summer hits and we've got those triple-digit weather, I'm going to be sitting back cooling and chilling. Cooling and chilling. And Benny's right here, so if you guys hear any noise, it's him chewing on his chew toy. Took him to walk. I mean, I hated to do it. I made a commitment. Nothing against other people, but I made a commitment to my animals, and I'm responsible. I have to do it. T'Challa, I think he's got a respiratory infection. Got to take him to the vet Monday. It seems like every time I think I have a little bit of money that I could do something with, something comes up and I got to do it. But I'm paying insurance on him, so I might as well go ahead and use it. You know what I mean? What's the point? We've been indoctrinated. I don't want to use it. I want to use it. If you have insurance, you guys, go to the doctor. If you're in my age group and older, go to the freaking doctor. Some of you guys look very, very terrible. I go to the base gym when I can, but I live, by a reserve base. And by the way, the air show was phenomenal this year. If you missed it, you missed it. The air show at March Air Reserve Base was phenomenal. I haven't got the numbers yet of how many people attended and what was going on, but it was phenomenal. And it was phenomenal for the simple fact that I sat in my backyard with my root beer and I watched the show, right? The thunder. I mean, they were coming right over my house, which they usually do when they're coming out of the pattern. It was phenomenal. F-35, I mean, he was like low and go, and he took off. And then, I'm a tanker guy because I started on KC-10s, which is, a DC-10 converted into a tanker. And I saw the KC-46 Pegasus, which March Air Reserve Base, is slated to get some KC-46s and get rid of our KC-135s down the road. It's going to be bedded here at March. We used to be known as Tanker Town here. And, so I'm an aerial refueling guy by nature. And I saw that Pegasus KC-46 pass over my house. It was low. I would say it was about, I would say it's about, it was fairly low. I would say, judging it, maybe 300. No, it wasn't that low. I would say it was at least 3,000, 3,500 feet. Right? I mean, you can see everything as it's coming. And it was just the engines were so quiet. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to see it. Of course, the KC-10 is 3-engine. KC-135s are 4-engine. So now we've gone down to 2 engines. Remember when flight crews was like 5 people in the flight station? You had the radio operator, the navigator, the flight engineer, and the 2 pilots. Now we're down to 2 pilots. Pretty soon we'll be down to 1 pilot. And of course, if we fly drones, there are no pilots. So technically they can do it. And technically the planes in the commercial aviation world, once they pass 100 feet, the FAA rule is a pilot must be in command of the aircraft 100 feet to the ground and 100 feet from the ground. So once that pilot gets that thing up and it kicks in the autopilot kicks in if it's automatic, that plane is flying themselves. People don't really realize that, but that's exactly what's happening. Is the planes are already flying themselves. The only reason that the pilot is in there is because us old heads, we're used to having somebody in there and it reassures us of what's going on. But what pilots are doing today in the commercial world is they do not want judgment day to happen in an airplane, right? When it does happen, when the AI takes over, the only reason the pilot is there is to monitor the system, right? What is better than a pilot to monitor the system than the aircraft mechanic? We have an old saying, you can teach a monkey to fly, but you can't teach a monkey to fly an airplane. And that's very true, right? So, yeah, the pilot is there to prevent judgment day, okay? Just to monitor the system. The computer's doing just about everything, and he's just there to make sure everything is flowing and flowing. And then if something does go awry, he or she can manually take over the aircraft and fly it and get it situated and settled and all that other great stuff. So a lot of fun has been taken out of commercial flying. Military flying, fighter pilots, they're becoming secondary now. There's a war going on, I've heard, and I saw it coming, where the drones are now, when you can take the human element out of flying and put a drone in there, and it doesn't matter if it gets shot down or not or whatever. So that's the future. Flying is becoming irrelevant, and as you know, we have a pilot shortage in the Air Force and the military, as well as in the commercial aviation industry. People aren't doing it like they used to, and they really don't have to do it like they used to. So anyway, some of you guys saw me, and I tell you guys all the time, especially you Johnny come lately, and I guess Johnny could be male or female. I tell you, Johnny come lately political pundits, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm just calling it the way it is. You Johnny come lately political pundits that come on, and you think you know what you're talking about, and you really don't know what you're talking about because you don't really participate. And yes, I'm calling you out. If you can't tell me who your council members are and who your mayor is and who your city manager is and your city clerk, don't tell me nothing about politics. I have yet to see any of my other friends and family show me a video where they're at city council participating in the process of their community. I've heard of people doing it, but I've never seen it, right? Not that I'm, anybody to do all that. But my point is, there's no question I'm engaged in my community. There's no question about that. So you guys saw a video of me. I was at city council, and I was talking to the mayor. And in my city, the biggest warehouse project in the United States has been proposed and approved in my city. Believe it or not. And with that, the biggest FBI bribe of a public official happened in my city. When that happened, that is when I got off my ass and went down to the city council meeting to see for myself. I was watching it on TV, and I couldn't believe what I was watching, the clown show and everything that was going on. I got off my ass, and I went down to the city council meeting in person to see what is going on because I'm vested. I'm a community member, a longtime community member. I'm vested. And the buffoonery that was going on and the corruption that was going on. You could Google it. Go Google Moreno Valley FBI raids. The FBI came into my city and they raided all of our city council members and the mayor and all this other stuff. And a councilman in District 3 or 2, District 2, I believe it was, was filmed in Temecula at a restaurant with $2.3 million put on a table as a bribe, as he alleged that he could get residential zoning changed to commercial and stuff like that, and there was a group of them that worked. They never really figured out who the other group of people he was talking about was. And the minute he was busted, oh my God, he has a heart attack. He gets sick. They gave him 5 years, and the rest is history. And ever since then, a lot of people, especially a lot of the elders of the city, have been watching and paying attention. And I bring that story up for the simple fact that what I'm trying to tell you guys is I was no different than you guys were. I'm living my life. I'm raising my children. I'm traveling. I'm trying to pay rent. I'm trying to, do things, and I'm not paying attention to what is going on. Yes, I can tell you who's running on the national elections. Ooh, Obama, ooh, Bush, whatever. I could tell you all that, but I couldn't tell you what the hell was going on in my very city. And I'm glad a lot of you guys are getting pissed off. I'm glad a lot of you guys are getting mad. I'm glad a lot of you guys are now paying attention, because what you're having is a reckoning within yourself about what is going on in your country. Like it or hate it or like it. This is what's going on, and it's your fault. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. If you're benefiting from all this bullshit, good for you. Good for you. I'm hearing all kinds of craziness from people that, logically doesn't even make any sense. How many of you guys have heard here in California? I'm going to show you how this is the liberal bastion of the world right here, California, right? We have a thing called Medicaid. The Medicaid system, Medicare, however you call it, this system was the safety net for the citizens of California, right? It's for, regular citizens that if they needed medical care for some reason, whatever, it's supposed to be for them, right? Your last bastion, your last ditch of hope of, it's the last thing that's going to catch you. You have nothing going for yourself. You've got the Medicare, you got the Medicaid, it'll help, right? California Democratic liberals said, oh, we are going to open up a Medicaid, Medi-Cal so that illegal migrants could get help too. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody got hit by a car and they're sitting there, I don't see myself asking them, are you a citizen? Are you a citizen, sir, ma'am? Senora? Senor? Are you a citizen? No, I'm not going to do that. Get them help. California is already in the red with the liberalism that we're already doing. How many of you guys have heard California has poured over $36 billion over the years into homelessness? And the problem has gotten even worse. So where is this money going? They're exposing these nonprofits that are acting as money laundering apparatuses. The money is not going to the people who need the help. Trump is exposing all of this, even on the national level. Look at everything that they're exposing. By the way, you guys do know USA aid is a front for the CIA, right? You guys do know that. They use that as a front to get into countries for the CIA. If you believe that or not, that's up to you. But think about it. Logically, think about it. Why are we giving money to these countries for the stupidest of reasons? Trans promotions and gay this and this and that. They have their own country. It's a storefront for the CIA, one of many. But see, a lot of you guys don't know that because you don't do your homework. Well, Donovan, you're just giving your opinion. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. FOIA the information, right? So anyway. So they open up Medicare, Medicaid, to people who have not put into it. You've got all these illegal people. I don't know how many millions are here in California illegally. You let them use that system, and the system has now gone bankrupt. So, for the very residents and citizens of California now don't have that system to worry about. And now you got an idiot governor that's asking for more money. Get those people off of a system that they're not supposed to be on, and the system wouldn't go bankrupt. Common sense, right? Can I go into Mexico or the Dominican Republic, which I love, and use their resources? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So back to my point. I was at city council, and a lot of people saying, well, what was, a lot of people that are new, they did not understand what I was talking about. We have a project here called the World Logistics Center. If you guys want to Google that, please Google the World Logistics Center. That is going to be the biggest warehouse project in the United States. Well, at least here on the West Coast, but from my understanding, in the United States. This thing is going to be 800 foot. Wait, is it 800 or 80? It's going to be huge. It's supposed to be huge, right? So, during the WLC wars, this developer, who also was under FBI investigation, and he was also involved in a lawsuit up in Tulare, California, with his brother, Benny Benvizi, who he had to be extradited. He ran to Israel, and they had to extradite him back to the United States to prosecute him. I'm telling you guys, if you guys are wondering why I am so adamant about what I am talking about and what I believe, is because I am living it. You guys might not be living the corruption that I'm living. Look up the city of Moreno Valley. The city of Moreno Valley is the second largest city in Riverside County. We have about 208,000 people here. Most of these people are implants from Los Angeles that have been gentrified out of Los Angeles. They've come out here to the desert area. We do not have major buildings here. Okay, we don't have skyscrapers. Downtown Riverside barely has skyscrapers. I mean, they barely have buildings, I think the tallest building that I saw in Riverside is probably, 13 stories, 13 levels at the most. Moreno Valley doesn't have that. We have an Air Force base in caretaker status that's under the control of a reserve unit, But the corruption here is rampant. But one thing that we do have here is land. So they built a lot of warehousing, right? And so this man had all this land. He bought off all of these politicians. The guy that went to federal prison for the $2.3 million bribe, was one of his people. Okay? Go look this story up. You guys can Google it. Go look it up. It's unbelievable. Okay? So a lot of these people that were under investigation received money from this developer. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. Ido Benvizi owns the city. He owns the city. Follow the money. But be very clear. Ido Benvizi is the front man for the Trump brothers of Florida. Okay? No relation to the president that I'm aware of. Maybe distant, I don't know, I don't care. But the point is, he's the front man. And this was a decision that was made here in my city. And a lot of the people, the elders that were fighting and warning everybody here, and these people have been here since the 50s. Okay, there was a man, and he used to cart race over at the, when we had a racetrack here, right? His name is Pete Bleckert. He was, man, I used to watch that guy on TV, and he would just, and he's one of the city elders. When Moreno Valley, which was formed in 1984, we're a young city. We were formed in 1984. This guy knew where all the dead bodies were, and he would just tell what the hell was going on. Hold on one second. Benny! Dog's going apeshit. Get in here. No. Sit down. Sit down. He's probably playing with the cat. Be good. Bad dog. Bad dog. So anyway, and I was watching him like come here every like 2 weeks or every city council meeting, and he was just telling what was going on and warning people, warning us, and just about everything he talked about came true. Right? So, and that inspired me to get off my ass, because he was like challenging a lot of people, especially the younger people. Get off your asses, because he's fine. You guys are going to live this nightmare. And he was absolutely right. So a lot of people are wondering, well, why are you so passionate? Why do you think you know everything? I don't know everything. I just have an opinion about everything. Okay? I don't know everything. If you ask me something on something, I will give you my answer. I'm not going to say it's right. Get over here. Benny. Get in here. He tries to sneak off and not listen. Sit down. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Come here. Sit. Anyway. You guys think I'm joking? Come here, Benny. Here he is, right here. Look at everybody. He's a pit bull, and he's just juvenile. Stay out of trouble. Get out of here. If you're going to leave, leave. See, when I ask him to leave, he won't leave. But when I tell him to stay, he wants to leave. Very independent. Anyway, go play. Get. So this is why I'm so passionate. You ask me about something, I'm going to give you my opinion. I didn't say it's the right answer. You guys can see me on the Demetra K show. I am not going to sit there and be like, oh, I'll just go with the flow. No, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I don't give a damn how you feel about it. I have an opinion. And I'm glad a lot of people are getting mad and upset at what's going on in the world and what's going on in this country, because you should. I don't care if you're a liberal. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're an independent. I don't care who you are. I just want you engaged and be knowledgeable about what is going on. Okay? A lot of you guys don't understand my stance. I'm a black man before I'm anything else. Okay? So a lot of what I think about is my standing in this country as a black man, because that's how I'm viewed. And in this country, a black man is at the bottom of the economic system. So why would I give a damn about the status quo when I'm at the bottom of it? Why? That's, to me, that's not even logical. If you were at the bottom of an economic system, would you be fine with that? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. So you guys got to understand where I'm coming from. And you don't have to if you don't want to. But that's where I'm coming from. A lot of people, and I love it. I love the conversations. Oh, well, I never said all Democrats are bad. I've never said that. I just happen to believe, based on the evidence that's been put in front of me, the Democratic Party has been very detrimental to the black community. I believe that. And the only thing I ask people who challenge me on that is show me where the Democratic Party has been positive for black people. Let's do recent history. The Civil Rights Movement. What party was against the Civil Rights Movement? The Democratic Party. Who initiated the Jim Crow laws after Reconstruction? The Democratic Party. See, these are things that they don't teach in the American history books, because they want you guys to think that everything is kumbaya and all this other stuff, why white supremacy prevails. And I don't give a damn about white supremacy. I'm very sure, almost positive to my core, I have a bunch of white supremacist friends. Or associates. I can't even call them friends. Associates. I'm almost sure of it. And that's okay. If they're white supremacists, I'm a black supremacist. I want what's best for my people, just like they want what's best for their people. And there's nothing wrong with that, you guys. So, anyway, the WLC. Google it, look it up. City of Moreno Valley, Google it, look it up. So, what I was alleging at City Council was this 30 minutes in. What I was alleging at City Council was this. During the WLC wars, and that's what we called them, the WLC wars, what I was alleging, and I had said this during the WLC wars, this developer who owns the city of Moreno Valley bought off politicians to get zoning changed for this bullshit project, right? In this agreement with the city, he was supposed to provide a technology center to train technicians to fix the robots in these automated modern warehouses. Hasn't happened. This developer has not done one thing in the agreement with the city that he was supposed to do. And this is what I warned years ago. I said, what he's going to do is he is going to use our tax dollars. And I'm not mad at the developer. Businessman. I think it's unfortunate that people fell for the fact that jobs, 20,000, whatever the jobs numbers were, that was never going to happen. This happened in real time, you guys. This actually happened in real time. And some of you guys that are in the area, you guys know what I'm talking about because it was in all the papers. So what this man has done, you have this property, right? And and this is a warning for all of you guys. That's why I keep telling you guys, go to your city council meetings. What this man going to do, how is he going to get all this infrastructure to make this super system? He uses tax dollars. Who has to put in the drainage system? Who has to build the roads? Who has to put in the traffic lights? Who has to put in the sidewalks? He's using tax dollars. So for him spending, let's just say, to buy the council members, $5 million, right? And this guy was giving, like, on Saturdays, tripe fish dinners at his estate up in the mountains. And all these, mostly Hispanic, let's just go with that, but there were some black people up there too. They were all buying, oh, he's going to bring all these jobs. And I mean, he was just giving out envelopes. People were just taking the money. So he probably spent at a local level about $6 million to buy off all these people, right? They believe this is going to happen. He's going to create all these jobs and people are going to go into these warehouses. I've been hearing nothing but nightmares about these warehouses. People, it's almost like if somebody did a crime and you say jail or go work at a warehouse, people are picking the jail. That's how bad these warehouses are from the stories that I've been hearing. So he's supposed to make these technicians, right? Because technicians, you make more money because you're fixing the robots. And when you got the robots, the automation comes in, you don't need as many people. So back in the day of our parents' age, you could be in a warehouse and there's 400 people in that warehouse. But with automation, you probably have 20 technicians fixing the robots. You don't need the 380 people, right? All of this came into fruition. So for $6 million out of his pocket to buy these politicians to approve these plans and projects, how much money did he get back and valued and increased the value of his property from our tax dollars? Probably 20-something million dollars. 20-something million dollars. And the damn thing isn't built yet. He's leasing parcels out now. You guys explain it to me. And this is what I was alleging was going on at the city council meeting, because what's happening is we have a planning commission, right? And I don't know what you guys call your city planning commissions, but these are the people that approve businesses that come into the cities, and oh, this is great, great. Then it goes to the city council and it comes back. There's a big process to it, but it's usually the second strongest and most important committee of a city. And this idiot mayor that we have, he is putting people on the committee that don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know the history of what has happened. They don't understand building codes, zoning restrictions, this, that, DARP, TARP, all these different acronyms, because they're personal friends of his. This is where we're at. The corruption, and our mayor's a Democrat. The corruption is real. And he's hand in hand with piece of shit Corey Jackson of the 60th Assembly. They put their friends that are not qualified in these positions to do the bidding of the developers and not represent the people. This is where we're at, you guys. So I know people think, oh, Donovan thinks he knows everything, whatever. No, I don't know everything. I have an opinion about everything. There's a difference. There's a big difference. I have an opinion about everything. And Donald Trump. Now, for all you ladies out there that are buying these $3,000 bags and stuff, and I'm not really talking to my friends that lived overseas with me, and a lot of you guys that have lived overseas in Asia, you guys have known this for years, that those bags, they're the same thing. We've known that for years. But you can't tell somebody who is convinced there's value because of this little label and this little tag. That's why you never see me buy anything name brand. Like this, right? This is a good example, this hat. Here in the United States, if I had bought this hat here in the United States, this would be, because it says Adidas, this would be a $20, $25 minimum hat, right? 25 bucks, right? I got this in the Dominican Republic for $4. Exact same hat that I can get here, $4. No different, same manufacturing spot, everything. So let me ask you this. If an item like a bag is made in China and it's shipped to Italy and they put the Italy label on it, is that a fake bag? Because they were manufactured in the same spot. So how is that a counterfeit bag if they were made in the same place? Do you guys see what I'm saying? Critical thinking. This is what we're talking about. Critical thinking. Most Americans do not think critically. They think with their feelings. Oh, I feel. Oh, I feel. Oh, I feel. No, critical thinking. How is I don't know what these bags are called, Louis Vuitton bag that is manufactured in China, right? Then they ship half of the load to Italy. They slap made in a Italy label on it. How is that a counterfeit bag? Like this hat. How this hat was made the same place as any of the hats here in America. Is this a counterfeit hat? I don't think so. Stony Bates, welcome, welcome, welcome. But you know what I mean? Critical thinking. How is this hat any less than the hat that you're paying, $4 hat, you're paying $25? It's your mind. You think there's value, more valuable of that hat because you've been warped, you've been propagandized to believe this has more value than that, but they're the same hat. They're the same bag. It's propaganda. It's the same as in politics. There's no difference between a Democrat and a Republican politician. Where do they get their money from? Think about this. Where do they both get their money from? Corporate interest. They keep talking about Citizens United and all the problems with big money in politics, but what do both do about it? Nothing. Donald Trump, what did he say? He said, hey, I donate to both sides. Most oligarchs donate to both sides. So who wins? Don King, the promoter, boxing promoter. Did Don King not always walk in with the champion and he always walked out with the champion? Same principle. Let's go to your money. Ask yourself this. Why are we paying interest on paper? On paper. It's just paper. Now, years ago, you used to be able to look at a dollar bill and it would say silver certificate or, whatever it was, right? And you could actually take that dollar bill and they would give you, it was worth $1 in silver, maybe $5, whatever the bill was back in the day, because everything was backed up by gold or copper or whatever it was, right? Now you have these Federal Reserve notes and they're charging interest on it on paper. Now, I happen to have a bill that was issued by the Kennedy administration, and it was called a federal, what was it? But it was a Kennedy note, basically, and there was no interest on it. Looked the same as everything else. It had that little red stripe on it, whatever, and there was no interest on it. And isn't it funny? He gets assassinated as he's issuing those notes. And then those notes were taken out of circulation. Abraham Lincoln, he was giving out greenbacks. He printed his own money. And then he ended up getting assassinated. Very interesting. So what I'm saying to you guys is this. Critical thinking. If you know anything about our monetary system, okay, there is no gold in Fort Knox. That was stolen out there in the 1970s. There's no money in Fort Knox. Okay, there's not, our gold reserves have been shipped overseas years ago. We operate on a faith-based money system. Okay, it's not backed by anything. This is worth $1 because you think it's worth $1, and everybody in the system acknowledges it that it's worth $1, but it's backed by nothing. It's just paper. It's just paper. Because if it was backed by something, would you just tear this up and just throw it away just like that? Of course you wouldn't, because it has a value that is real. You're just not going to tear money up when you know it has a systematic value that's backed up by minerals or something of substance, right? So, critical thinking. It's like this new system that they have now, right? Cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency based on? Think about it. Think about it. Kind of crazy. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. I just wanted to come on here and have you guys understand that is what I'm alleging when I was at the city council meeting. We have an idiot mayor here in the city of Moreno Valley he can't run for re-election. He is trying to put people in place that will owe him a favor. These people have no insight. They have no knowledge about what they're doing. And don't get me wrong. People that come from other countries where corruption is kind of normal, they've brought that attitude here. And we're not going to stand for it. At least I'm not in my city. And I had to let him know we're watching. Because what it is this guy, he's a piece of shit too. He has no skills, okay? Matter of fact, the developer found this kid selling tacos on the corner with his father, right? Nothing against his father. His father's, a migrant or, came into the country. I don't know his status, but came into the country. I'm very sure he came in legally. I'm gonna just say that. Met the man, very proud of his son. I don't know where they're from originally, but if I was a father, I'd be proud of my son to go from, whatever to wherever. This guy's the mayor. But he wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for the developer's money, okay? The guy has no transferable skills. None. Zero. Right? I warned everybody. I and other people have told everybody. And this guy's been sitting here. So what he's doing is now he can't run for re-election. He has no marketable skills. Okay? So he just started his family. He has a wife and 2 children. and the money's dried up. And like white supremacy, when the white man is done with you and his tools, they break them. Okay? He has no marketable skills. So what he is trying to do is put people in positions that will owe him a favor and possibly put him in a position where he could make money, or it's like what politicians do. If they once they lose their office, they put them on a committee, like a reparations committee, and they give them $2 million for a year to float them until they could get into some other political office, whatever the situation is. That's this young man's situation. The sad thing is, we have a young man on the dais, Ed Delgado, a veteran and he used to be the under sheriff of Riverside County, the number 2 guy in Riverside County. A lot of people don't like the guy. I like the guy. The one thing I can say, do I like some of the decisions he made? No, but he made the decisions based on what he thought was right, and I just respect that. I respect that. And number one, he's my age. He's coming from a knowledge base for what he has to represent his people. And I know a lot of people don't like him, but I'm not one of those people, okay? He doesn't represent me. I think we would be better if we had to be, somebody that I would pick for a mayor that's on the council right now. I would pick him. Okay, if it was my choice. But I don't think Ed's going to run for office anymore. I think he's going to go and enjoy his life like he deserves with his beautiful family. They're going to go on and do their thing and have fun, whatever. So what my city has to do now, we have to start looking to the future and who's going to occupy that seat. Because things are starting to heat up as our tax dollars are going to this developer who has done nothing in regards to the development agreement that he signed with the city. Where is the technician thing he was supposed to do? Hasn't happened. That agreement was signed in, I think, in 2016, 2017. That's almost 10 years ago. Maybe 2018. Let's just, still 5 years and we haven't turned out one technician. Then it's, the economy. The guy always has an excuse. But if we tried to we need a mayor that's going to stand up and make these people do what they say they're going to do according to the agreement. So what he does is he does backyard deals and takes the city to court to fight what he actually had signed on to do. But see, what it is he knows that people will forget. But I'm not going to forget. I live in one of the oldest parts of the city, one of the oldest neighborhoods of the city. There's 2 of them. Really, there's 3 neighborhoods that are 4 if you include the base. So there's March Air Reserve Base, there's Edgemont, there's Sunnymead, and there's Moreno. Those 4 entities, those little towns, form the city of Moreno Valley. So March Air Force Base is very pivotal to Moreno Valley's livelihood. Let me say this. There was a base 12 miles away from here. It's called Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino. That was San Bernardino's last lifeline. When they closed that base, the city of San Bernardino went bankrupt within, I think, 3 years because that revenue that was generated by the base wasn't coming in there anymore. I always tell the city staff and the mayor and my representative, we have to do better to promote March Air Reserve Base because it is still the biggest employer of our city, even though it went to reserve status. That base used to generate $65 million in revenue for the city of Moreno Valley when it was an active duty base. And most active duty bases do that. That's what they generate. That's why it's so important to fight for a military installation in your neighborhood, because you're talking about not just the military people, the families, the civilians. It's a whole economy system within itself. So when people are like, I don't care if the base closes, this is what happens. So even though we have a reserve base, the reserve base I think it kicks in about $16 million annually locally into the community. And it's a reserve base. It's an active reserve base. So it's very, very active. Um, but yeah, look this stuff up. And again, I'm glad you guys are getting upset. I'm glad you guys are paying attention. But just think about it. If there wasn't a Donald Trump right now, would you know that that 3,000 handbag that you invested in and that whole collection of handbags that you now have, you overpaid and it's worthless now? How does that make you feel? You would never have known that, those of us that weren't living overseas, if this tariff war hadn't happened. And I'm not saying Donald Trump is a genius and he said, oh, I'm going to do a tariff war. The point is, all truths will be exposed. All lies will be exposed. And we're seeing that in real time. All right, you guys, it's 50 minutes in. I'm going to give you guys a break. I'm going to get out of here. Benny's sitting on top of my foot. My foot is going to sleep. But that's what I was alleging in regards to my city council appearance. Make no doubt about it. I'm involved and I understand the political system in my area as I understand it. I don't get emotional. I use logic. You should always use logic first, not your emotions. If you do that, you might make better decisions in regards to who you vote for. Things are getting bad out here, but I want you guys to notice this. Remember, I referenced the fact that I'm a black man, right? If you see me on the Demetra K Show and some of the other podcasts that I've appeared, I am the first one to tell you, because black people are at the bottom of the economic system in this country, all the hell and stuff that's happening, it hasn't really affected black people. We don't own anything, and I'm talking in general. You guys know what I'm talking about. We don't own anything. We don't have any major corporations in this country. We don't have anything. Black wealth since the 1960s has grown 3%. But you could be an Asian flown here from Vietnam in 1972 when we started, getting out of there and stuff. And in that short period of time, their wealth has increased way past black people. So when I talk to black people and they're talking about, oh my God, this, oh my God, that, we're at the bottom. Well, what's going to happen here? It doesn't matter if a strong man comes. It doesn't matter if a dictator comes. It doesn't matter if a king comes in. It doesn't matter. Nobody is bettering our position. Other people come to this country and they say to themselves, as long as we're not like black people and we're above them, we're good. Again, ask me logically. Logically, Donovan, do you want to overturn the system? Of course I do. Why? Because my people are at the bottom of it. That's logical. You can't blame me for being logical. Who wants to remain at the bottom? You play sports, right? Who wants to be on a losing team their whole career? Who wants to do that? But you guys are telling me I'm not logical, but I just gave you an analogy where it's the same thing. I don't want my people at the bottom the whole time. And in this country, that is how this economic system has been set up. And when I look at things through my glasses, I see things as a black man first. I know you've got a lot of people are kumbaya-ish and they're super liberals and whatever's whatever and everybody should love each other. That ain't the world we live in. That's just not. That's insanity. And then when I tell the super liberal, well, that's great. Well, then give me half your money and everything's going to be cool, right? They don't seem to want to do that. They know black people are asking for reparations, but yet you don't see the Democratic liberal helping us get that and helping us demand that. Logic, right? Are people suffering out here? Yes, absolutely. But you're not alone. I've lost thousands of dollars in my stocks. My mom has lost thousands of dollars. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, we're all in the same boat. We're all losing money. But those are the few of us that were blessed enough to do what we knew we had to do to be in the position that we're in. 70% of the black population is below the poverty line, at the poverty line, or just above it. That's 70% of black people. That's why if you look on Facebook and you look on TikTok and you look on Instagram, look at the majority of what black people are doing. Do they look panicked? No, they're still having a good time. They're still partying. They're still smoking their tweeds. Their life has not changed because they're at the bottom. And I want to change that. So anyway, you guys, I'm just going to say this. Not saying that you don't go to your city council meetings and you don't watch your city council meetings, but I'm going to strongly say this. Most city council meetings is on your public access TV. You can watch it on YouTube, most of them. YouTube, you could download the forms. Everything you need is already there. It, to me, makes no logical sense for you not to know what is going on in your city. I had a friend that moved from here and moved to a brand new area where they were building cities, right? Where they're building the city. Bought a house out there, brand new, beautiful house. Beautiful house. They built a warehouse right down the street, not far from where his house is. If we do our homework and we go to the planning commission or even we go to City Hall and we ask these questions before we buy, I don't know if you would have still bought the house or not, but the point is, when you got a warehouse right in front of your house or down the street from your house, how much of a value does that bring down your property? You got 18-wheeling trucks coming up and down your roads. This is why I'm so passionate about politics and what it is, because when I look in the mirror, everything that's going on in my city is my fault because I was not paying attention. And that story with the developer, that's an ongoing story. And things are heating up here to where I'm trying to ring the alarm and let them know what is going on. All right, you guys, I'm Donovan. You guys know that. I'm nationally known as the Recovering Democrat, also known as the Black Yulebrenner. And here locally, I'm known as the IE Informer. So I drop dime on people every chance I get. Yes, I'll tell on your ass. You guys stay warm, stay safe, and just have a great day and be blessed. And again, man is not going to solve these problems. Only God's going to solve these problems. Hang in there.